Good morning. We are now at week 7 of the Being Your Best You Mindfulness Education series. And once again, I would like to extend gratitude to the Joy Fund for allowing these sessions to happen. Um, and let's do a little recap. So last week, we shifted gears a bit and spoke more directly about the neuropsychology of positive thinking and the effect that gratitude practices have on our brain, our nervous systems, and how gratitude practices, in fact, help our systems to view the world more positively when we do this on a regular basis, or to see the positive, to notice the positive that's there. If you missed any of the previous sessions, they are available on YouTube and Vimeo under my name, all one word, so Sarah with an H, Kim _MD. And, I may drop that into the chat so that it's available later on. So let us take a few moments for ourselves. And I invite you to lower your gaze or close your eyes. And today, I will ask you to just sit, whatever meaning that has for you. Choosing a posture that brings a sense of ease, perhaps allowing you to yield rather than hold. Connecting with the room around you, the air, the surfaces that support you. Gently bringing awareness to internal movements as you become aware of your external surroundings. Just noticing what's happening both inside and out. As you sit, allowing things to arise as they will, seeing if you can stay with them, not necessarily changing anything, just curiously following whatever path both your internal and external experiences want to take you today. Just feeling, hearing, seeing, smelling, sitting, breathing, being, just being. And taking a few moments in silence to just be with yourself. Everything that is you, that is present here, right now. And as we draw this brief meditation to a close, taking a moment to embrace yourself, offering gratitude to yourself if you are able, for taking this time to be with yourself and perhaps see yourself with greater compassion, with more love, knowing that each of these moments strengthen your resiliency, your capacity to live more wholly in the present. And taking one slow breath as we settle into today's lesson. So today I wanted to talk about the relationship between wellness and fear. And interestingly, or maybe not, in some ways they are polar opposites. Usually, when we are in a place of fear, we are struggling with feeling well. Now, as the resource for today, I'm coming back to the work of Dr. Richard Schwartz and his internal family systems model. And it's again with this model, he explicitly has people try to examine themselves as an internal family. And when we are not able to stay present, according to this model, but also according to many other theories and frameworks, including the traditional Buddhist philosophies, that when we are not able to be present, when we are not feeling well, it's usually actually that in a state when we are not feeling well. And again, from previous lessons, I will have mentioned that when we're not feeling well, we are stuck in our small mind rather than big mind. Or if we go back to the hand model of the brain that I've taught before, when we are in small mind, it may be that we've flipped our lids, the cortex, prefrontal cortex has gone offline, and that we were overwhelmed by fear signals from our systems. And that what we're doing here again is trying to learn either to how to keep our lids on such that we are able to stay centered, and calm the rest of the system, but that we're able to stay again more integrated and connected and open to whatever it is that we're facing in our day. And some common fears that in the internal family systems framework they'll talk about, for example, are fears of rejection, fears of inadequacy, fear of humiliation, which in many ways is actually just fearing the rejection. Um, and a lot of these core fears often drive our anxiety, our stress. And many of them have been there for a long time because usually they are things that get nailed down, I suppose, or that get activated when we're very young. In those moments where we felt vulnerable, but were not met with compassion or a sense of safety, and where again we may have been met with dismissal or rejection, or something uh, more harsh. And so, and it's an interesting relationship because our fears do, as to a certain extent, allow us to succeed in life. It's that for physicians in particular, or, well, anybody who really will identify with a type A personality, much of our motivation is driven from a fear of never being good enough, the perfectionism, never being adequate, the fear of making a mistake, the fear of failure. And these do help people to achieve wonderful things, but when it stays in that overdrive, when it um, is is just pushing along unchecked, it often does lead to wearing out the system, because driving like that is something that is unsustainable. And it does help to acknowledge that these fears are there, in these moments of where you may be feeling intense and stress. It's like, okay, so why am I being so hard on myself right now? Is one, you know, straightforward thing you could try asking yourself. But in starting to really explicitly name the underlying fears that drive or continue to drive many of our behaviors. It presents an opportunity to receive yourself with more compassion. And again, what I love about the work of Richard Schwartz is that in being able to at least name that these fears are coming up, it can allow you to um, start to be a little more curious about who inside you and what memory it might be anchored to, because many of these are often anchored to um, quite strong memories. And for some, as you do reflections upon what fears may be sitting with you day to day, you may find that there are intense emotions or feelings or memories that come up that you may need the help of someone else to process more safely for yourself. So if you do find when you start to reflect on this, it starts to become a little overwhelming or intense. One, not to feel any shame around that. That's actually pretty normal. It can be an overwhelming experience. But to hopefully allow yourself to reach out for support in navigating some of the things that may come up as you take a more honest look at yourself. And so, what I would like to offer as a bit of homework for this week is to do some reflection on what fears you may have, and whether it's a short free writing exercise where you just write it down. Sometimes writing is less overwhelming than actually trying to sit with all the thoughts, because often the thoughts may come too quickly. But what I found for my patients and for myself is that writing often helps to pace these thoughts as they come up. But reflecting on whatever fears you may have, even if it's simple things like a fear of a spider or fear of uh, a dark basement, for example. But just talking also about these fears of why, for example, maybe if you get some kind of order at the restaurant, you're not able to tell the server that your meal is actually not pleasant or not what you ordered, or why we stop ourselves from sometimes standing up for ourselves. So, what fears are there? What prevents you from speaking your mind? And what fears drive you in trying to be a better person? Because again, these fears do help us to be successful in life. But what we're trying to find the balance between is not having them overrun us or push us too hard. And with that, um, so leaving you with that, I would like to take you through a short closing meditation. So once again, lowering or softening your gaze, closing your eyes if that feels more comfortable, connecting again with your seat, noticing the air in the room, and just checking in with how you're feeling, acknowledging that sometimes in talking about fear, it does bring up a bit of a fear response in you. And if it's there today, just noticing that, not judging it at all. Seeing if you can accept whatever is part of your experience in this moment. Seeing if you can embrace yourself fully. And again, remembering that each time we take these small little pauses, we do give ourselves more practice in becoming individuals who, day by day, gain more resilience, more ability to stay grounded in the moment. And we do allow ourselves to have a little moment of rest that we all very much need. And I thank you again for joining me this morning. And we'll stop the recording here to allow for any questions.